Listen to that bird. It's a really good bird. Whenever you guys are ready, I'm ready. We rolling? Okay. Hi, this is Peter Didler, once more, Associate Professor of Humanities here at Purchase College. Graduated class of 1972, and now I'm back to teach. This is my third installment on Purchase Television, and we are filming on location at the Wharton State Forest. I want to thank the SUNY Purchase Film Department for lending me their students to help me shoot this field documentary. I'm very excited to introduce you to some very exciting new research that I've been doing into the field of it's kind of a new field, an undiscovered field, and it's really very fascinating. So thanks again to Purchase Television for airing the special, for the SUNY Purchase Film Department for shooting and doing all special effects, and for the Purchase College Library for all the research support that they've given me. So let's give a round of feathers. All the birds in the forest are clapping for you guys. So thanks a lot. Thank you very much. So my new research has been on after my thesis, which I guess was the last thing that was broadcasted on television, was not deemed appropriate to fulfill the requirements of my master's degree. I've started in a sort of tangential study, something that interested me a while ago that I stumbled across in the Library of Congress, which is a library located in Washington, D.C. It's a large library full of books, lots of books, and there's a lot of books that it just seems like nobody's ever seen before. You know, dusty books, big old books with words, you know, and kind of seem to be written in languages that nobody's ever bothered to decipher. German, Italian, Chinese, incredible. But I found a book called the Oral History of the Earth, the Doom Dial, by someone named Earth Crab, and the entire book is attributed to this Earth Crab character, the writer, narrator, you know, and it's written in this really difficult to decipher text that is characters, but using a heretofore kind of a neglected portion of the Rosetta Stone. I've deciphered the majority of the book over the last 6 years, and I've just now decided to use it as part of my new thesis project. So I thought I'd read you a few passages from this, the history of the Doom Dial. Now, what is the Doom Dial, you ask me? Well, I had no idea, you know, when I first started deciphering the book. What is a Doom Dial? Is it a clock? Is it like a weapon? A doom. What is a doom? Like a dune? Like in a desert? What is that? But as I continued reading, and Earth Crab told the story of the coming of the Doom Dial, it seems that the Doom Dial is an instrument with which to bring about, some would say, the apocalypse. I find apocalypse a very secular term, a term that kind of has other connotations. What more it's talking about is an instrument to metaphorically level the playing field, to kind of, it would destroy humanity and revert everything back into a period before civilization, which is very interesting. It's a concept that heretofore was not known to exist before the early apocalyptic scholars. So this is really something innovative. It's something special. So I want to tell you a little bit about the Doom Dial and this Earth Crab character, because he's kind of taken over my life and my studies. It's very, very interesting. There's a passage. So this Earth Crab character built and this can be interpreted as metaphor or can be interpreted as fact. He built a forest with his own hands by burying the fingers from his left hand that he chewed off into the ground like little shrubs, like little like seedlings. So he would one by one, and he was the tribe elder. He would one by one call the elders of the tribe into his abode, and in front of them he would chew a finger off, and he would take the finger and hand it to the second command, and the second he would say, "Plant this in the ground over yonder, over the ridge, and then come back to me." And the elder would go and never come back. And then he took his second finger, and to the third in command, he chewed his finger off and gave it to that man, and the man took the finger over the ridge and never came back. And 5 fingers later, everybody wondered where all of the generals and the medicine man and the town historian went, because they took these fingers to plant and they never came back. And so Severian took everybody in town and brought them together, and he said, "Why would you question me? Why would you question that I am elder of this town? I am your leader, and I sent these people away to do a great task. And if they have not returned, then they have that is part of the completion of their task." And everybody's like, "Well, he was my dad. He was second elder, but he was also my dad. And I'm really sad, Mr. Earthcrab, that they're gone now." And Mr. Earthcrab would say, "For each of you who have lost a loved one, an elder, to this this expedition that takes my severed fingers to plant them, for each one of you, if you want to give me one of your fingers, I can bring them back." And so the little boy was like, "Well, sure, why not? I don't want my dad to be like lost or whatever," or the brother of the tribe shaman said, "Yeah, of course, I'll trade my finger to have my brother back." So they all chewed off their own fingers, and this earth crab character collected them and sewed them onto his own hand. So he had a couple thumbs, and again, it's kind of hazy in the text in the way it's translated as to exactly how he was able to attach the fingers to his hand. But he took the fingers from the tribe's people and attached them to his own hand, and he held it up to the people, and he says, "This is the hand of the people. It is my palm, but it is your fingers." And then he takes this hand, and he says, "This is the doom dial." And the people are like, what is he talking? What the fuck is he talking about? This dude's off his rocker. He's pulling on the peyote too hard. And he says, "No, this is the doom dial. This is God's instrument of creation with which he drew you up from the soil. And it is the same instrument that will level you back down to it." And he said, "I sent my fingers to be planted in the earth. You've lent your fingers to the doom dial." So he asked everybody to put a hand out, to raise a hand in the tribe, and he said, "This is the contribution of these 5 people. Your contribution is forthcoming." And so he took them all over the ridge, and where the elders were supposed to plant the fingers, they were climbing up, and now this part is extremely this is the most recent thing that I've translated. The last story that I told, that's probably 600 pages worth of text, just that story with the fingers and the hands, and this last week is kind of the conclusion of the book, and what ends up happening is he takes them over the ridge, and they look over where the forest of fingers was to be planted by the elders, and what they see is a giant, they call it, it's hard to, it's kind of like slug, but at the same time it can be translated as a gourd, like some kind of hollowed out gourd. So like a gourd or a slug, but shining and made out of this material that they had never seen before. They called it stone. So it was like a gleaming stone gourd, and Severian loaded all of these people into a hole in this gleaming stone gourd, and it disappeared. And disappeared is a loose translation of the term. It could mean that the gourd ascended or descended into the earth. But long story short, the earth crab loaded these people up onto this gourd, and they all disappeared in the Forest of Fingers. So I was able to, using text clues from the book, determine where that tribe was and where approximately the place where the gourd was loaded and departed or buried. And I believe it is this forest, the one that we are in currently. And it is very exciting because nobody has set foot in this forest in probably 15,000 years, because we are in a remote corner of Argentina called Wharton, Argentina. And this is an area protected by the government of Argentina because they don't want anybody coming here, because it's where they hide all of the drugs. So, and that's a loose translation also from the documents I was given about the Argentinian government. But long story short, the very end of the book is very distinct. There's really no other way to translate it. The earth crab, this narrating character, claims that the doom dial, which translates as his hand, will bring about the coming of the gourd or the slug, which is the vessel with which he carried his people away in, and it will happen when Severian earth crab, Severian's the surname of the character in the book, returns. So, what that means, I don't know, but I do want to consult this being that we found in a tomb in the forest. We found two things in the tomb. There were no remains, but there were markings that were ceremonial and burial in the same text as the book was written in. And what we found was this cloak. Found this cloak in the tomb. Now we don't know what people or what tribe it belonged to, but I would imagine that carbon dating would put it back about 15,000 years. And right next to the cloak, we found this small ceremonial bird. And the bird is made from some sort of animal fur, and the insides are the guts of a pig that have since petrified. But so these are the two items that we found in the tomb over the ridge, and I don't have evidence that they belonged to this earth crab character, but I have an extremely strong feeling or intuition that they are tied to him explicitly or physically or metaphysically in some way. So I've felt an irresistible desire to wear the cloak and to converse with the bird. And some of the things that it's told me are so profound, and I would like to share a little bit of them with you. And now, these may be difficult things to hear, but they sure have informed my research for my thesis project. and I hope that they inform whatever your pursuit is intellectually or spiritually. So I'll recite a few lines from the book wrote through the ceremonial bird, and I hope you enjoy it. So let me prepare the book. And this again, this is the translation to the best of my ability. Here we go. And that was the ending of lines of the book that foretell the coming of the gourd. And I feel such power in this forest and such overwhelming potential. And the air is abuzz with electricity that I cannot begin to articulate. So we will stay in the forest to complete the video in its part 2, and I can't tell you what we will find. I mean, this tomb was a great archaeological find, but I enjoy wearing this cloak, and I don't think I'm going to take it off.
God, I'm out of breath.
I just want to say that you're really sexy. You should stop sexy.
Alright,
Your shirt.
I think you're sexy too, and I love you. But I have a show to do, so